Oh, hey guys, Token Vaping, how's it going? Sorry. So today's review is actually just a quick little shout out, and it's if you haven't come across them yet, which if you haven't, I really would like to know how or why, just because they're one of the biggest things for vaping, period. But as you all know in my reviews, I'm trying to do more than just juice. I'm reaching out, since I buy all my own stuff, I try to, if I buy a new tank, RDA device, things like that, I try to do a review as well. But that goes beyond that in itself. I'm a big fan of Vapin magazine. And it literally, when somebody says that they're all things vape, pretty much this company is. It's not just a magazine. It is an insight to the vaping community. It's an insight to what makes people tick. It's an insight to why people vape, why they want to get involved with vaping, why they want to make certain juices, why they make, why they do what they do in support of vaping. A lot of people nowadays, they pass you on the street, they see you vaping, and the first thing they see when they see the clouds, like, oh, it's a smoke, oh, it's a vapor. And it's such a misconception that it's really, really, really disheartening to know that that's, what people, I guess you could say, devote their negativity towards. But enough about that. I'm not here to do a soapbox on that. Vapor Magazine, this is issue number 12. If you have not had a chance, now, before I go any further, there are a few other dedicated vape magazines that are out there that are just as good in my opinion. I'm just a fan of this particular company just because I've had a chance to, message a few of the people behind the scenes. I've been following some of them since I started pretty much on Instagram. Just amazing people, and it's just what I like most about this company is their dedication to try to include a little bit of everything vape. It's not just primarily, all the new devices and RDAs and tanks. It's not just juice companies. It's not just advertisements. It's not just advocacy. It's literally a buffet, if you will, of vaping. And they've done a bang up job. I've had a few issues now, and I'm never disappointed with it. I'm never bored with it. I always want to read it. I always want to go through it. I'll reread it a couple of times. This issue is actually a really cool one, just in general. But to give you a quick shout out to this. This is the main crew behind the scenes. And if you are on Instagram or you vape at all, you know most of these people. And right there is the lovely Katie Tidwell. She just got promoted to editor-in-chief recently. So this company is definitely headed in the right direction and in great hands. This is Erica Louise, who I've talked to a couple of times on Instagram. She is an amazing person. R.D. Smith, the vice president over here. And what's the other one? Stephanie Blankenship is one of the staff writers. Her name pops up a lot. They are just an amazing group of people. Not a single one of them falls short in any way, shape, or form for their love, passion, and support of the vaping community as a whole. It just, the time and effort and the dedication and the passion and everything that they put into what they do, you get when you go through these. You get if you talk to them. You get if you've ever had the honor and pleasure of meeting any of them, in person. It definitely comes off genuine. It definitely shows, even just by reading articles, the way it's worded, the way it's written, the way the pictures are done. All of it just leads to show just the amount of passion and love that they have for vaping as a whole, and the fact that they want people to understand why it is what it is, why we do what we do, why we vape, why we do this, why we do that. The inner heartbeat, if you will, of the vaping passion. And it's not just about if it looks cool. It's not just about who's got the coolest device. There is an inner and higher purpose to this, and that is, in my opinion, and I like to believe that that is their main focus. That's their main goal that they're trying to reach out in. Now, just like with any other magazine, don't get me wrong, they do have multiple. They do have advertisements. They do have the companies that sponsor to have their lines put into their magazines. I mean, that's typical with anything, but that's to be expected. What compels me to want to read these articles and this magazine is not how many pictures that you see. They are nice, but it's the writing, it's the words, it's the stories, it's the history, it's the interviews that they do. They do an amazing job, and it's a pleasure to see that the dedication that should be given to vaping, they personify in their magazine. One article I do need to point out, I've been following her on Instagram for a long time. This is Irby on Instagram. She's spotlighted in the Chicks with Wicks article. She just started up her own company recently as well, Cloud Couture Company. If you haven't heard of it, or if you don't know anything about it, definitely check it out. Follow her on Instagram. She's an amazing woman, huge heart. One of the main articles in this issue that I was a big fan of, because I've been wanting to try and review this line for a while, and I'm hoping to be able to do so in the future. But it is the cannoli, their cannoli B1. He's also on the cover, Mr. John Nathan. Their cannoli B1 has a huge article about just what makes him tick, why he started doing what he did, the passion that he has for it, the love and everything. I mean, and you can tell he's not just doing this to make money. That doesn't even come into mind when you're reading this. It lets you know, the passion that he has, the support that he has, the love that he has for putting out something that's premium quality for vaping, not so he can make money off of it, but that so he knows vapers out there are getting a high quality juice that not only will they enjoy vaping, but that they'll want to continue to vape. It's credited with being the start of like the whole cannoli craze flavors. Whether that's true or not, I don't know enough about all of them to be able to say who started first and whatnot. But I do know a lot of people that vape this line that are huge fans of it. So Mr. Nathan, hats off to you for that. I'm grateful that you're a part of the vaping community, and that they can call you part of the family, to know that stuff is being made properly and well done. But that's going even just scratching the surface of what's in here. Another one here, and I've learned a few things out of this article as well. I've seen him on Instagram, but Vaporgate. There's a huge article on the gentleman behind that and why he started doing what he does and what he's bringing to the table and everything else like that. And I've seen his company all over Instagram, and I'm starting to become a fan of it, to reach out and see about purchasing one of his products to see if I can do a review for that. But they do showcases on expos. They do advertisements for upcoming expos, whether it's local or overseas. They do, like I said, multiple. This one's from the National Vape Expo in Foxwood, Connecticut. But I mean, literally anything and everything that has to do with vaping, they contain within this magazine. This right here, not this one specific, although that would be like a dream come true, but this right here is my ultimate goal, to end up in one day to be a staff reviewer or a contributor to a magazine style like this, to let more people know, the benefits, the enjoyment, the pleasure, the reasoning behind vaping. It's so much more than what people see. It's one of those reasons why I hate that phrase where it says ignorance is bliss, because everybody says, a lot of people that I know that use that, it's because they don't want to know. They're more comfortable not knowing the details, because then they feel like they become involved in something and it's up in the air whether they want to or not. I don't like that phrase, because I'm one that always wants to know more about anything and everything. Once I find something that interests me, I want to know as much about it as I possibly can. This is one of those things. Even if you don't vape, it would not hurt to, pick up an issue of this just to check it out, to give you a better understanding. So at least if you're going to be one of those people that pass you by on the street that makes a judgment face or a judgment comment or a judgment call, at least there's something you can base it on instead of just what you've heard, what you think you know, what you've seen. And Vaping Magazine is a great place to do that because of how in depth they go, because of the connection that the writers make when they do the stories. Most of these stories, you can tell that they're actually, when they interview the people, they're actually talking to them. They're wanting to know the history behind them. They're wanting to know details. It's not just oh, hi, how are you? My name's so and so, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you vape, thanks. I'll put that in the article. And it's that type of in-depthness that they put into this that makes this go from a simple magazine to a world of knowledge for vaping. And it just, in any way, shape, or form that they can help the vaping community in a positive note, they do it. I unfortunately have not had the pleasure of meeting any of the actual staff people in person. It's harder for me to go to the bigger expos because of where I'm located. But like I said, I've talked to a few of them on Instagram, a few messages here and there, and they've never told me that they were too busy. They've never ignored my messages. They've never read them and then just never responded. Anytime I've ever sent a message or a question or anything, they have always been quick to respond. They've always been quick to explain, certain things and that is a huge nod of respect from me to them. But again, like I said, if you've not had a chance to pick up this magazine, definitely subscribe to them. Go to their website. It's vapinmagazine.com. They're, like I said, they're on Instagram. I believe they're on Facebook. They're all over social media. It is not hard to find a link to them to be able to subscribe to them. Get the issue. Like I said, even if it's just one, I promise if you are interested in vaping at all, after you read one, you will be interested in keeping it up and finding out what the new next thing is, what the next article is going to be, who's going to be listed into what. And it's a great read. It really is. And it's not just to kill time. I mean, this is something that you could sit down and read. And even in some of the articles and interviews, you'll be reading it, and then you may have a question that pops in your head to be like, well, how come this wasn't asked, or where's that? And that's what makes it come more full circle, because then it makes you want to know more about them. It might even make you reach out to the companies and find out and ask them. I could go on and on and on about this, and it's not meant to be that type of a review specifically. I'm here because I want to let people know Vaping Magazine is definitely worth the investment. It's definitely worth the time. It's definitely worth the interest and looking into. Again, if you do not know about this company or magazine yet, if you are interested in vaping, if you vape, if you are a vape retailer, distributor, wholesaler, maker, anything to do with vaping, if you have not read this magazine yet, you need to. It's definitely a feather in the cap for anybody. But Vaping Magazine, thank you guys so very much for the opportunity to continue to be a fan of your magazine. Thank you for taking the time to answer any questions that I have ever sent to you. Thank you mainly just for being you guys and being part of the vaping community. It is a much better place with people like you in it. As always, guys, I'm Token Vaping. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest. Anything that I myself can do to help further enhance your vaping experience, it's the only reason why I do this. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. If there's a particular video that you would like to see, I will do everything in my power to make that happen. But until next time, no matter what, always remember, truly love yourself. Vape on, vape strong, guys. Have a good one.